Welcome back, everyone. It's David, aka Faramir4731, and I'm bringing you another match on Empire Total War. And on this match, I'm going to be playing as France, and I will be playing on the Bavaria map. And let's go ahead and get the action started. I'm playing with some player I don't know, and I think he's a new guy. The rule was 4 artillery, 4 lights, and no more than 4 of any unit, and 4 light dragoons max. So that was the rules. So what I did is I opted to take 1 horse guard artillery and 1 foot howitzer, and I've got 4 Bulkleys, 4 Trelures, and let's see, 1-2 line, 1 Royal DuPont, and I've got Cheval, a Carabiner. I got 3 Chasseur Chevals, I'm sorry, whatever you say, and then 1, and I'm sorry, maybe it was 6 lights max, I think is what it was, and I brought 5. So I've got 1 Trelure hidden, and I've got another Chasseur Cheval, however, blah 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 blah, whatever it is, in the tree over here. So I got 5 shooting cav. I think it was the rule. It was, I'm sorry, I think it was 6 lights, 6 shooting cav, and 4 artillery, and no more than 4 line infantry of any type. Yeah, the rules were bananas crazy to remember. Okay, anyways, I'm going to forward to the battle where we're both playing France. I believe they both play as Britain. So what I'm going to be doing in this match is I've got a trap of 1 of each type of unit here in the trees, and I have my main line here that I am going to set up an allure to bring him over so I can bring these units out and trap him with those units and throw him off surprise so I can bring my cav around and hit the flank even worse. Alright, so that's the plan. My ally says he is going to take the flank over here, and I was like, how, just be careful because you shoot the ground a lot over here on this flank. So I was just trying to remind him of that. So he's going to take off on his little Gant, and he's got 3 artillery over here on this side, 1 on this side. He's got a Trelure and line infantry there. He's got 1, 2, 3 line there, and a Trelure, and 2 more, so 3 Trelures there, 1 here. He's got 2 Cuirassiers or Cuirassiers, I'm terrible with pronouncing, 2 Garde du Corps here in the center, and 2 Chasseur Chevals in the next to the woodland there, and his general bodyguard. Okay, so my opponent is taking the ridge line on the hill, and my opponent's my ally's opponent is setting up amongst between the hills and the woodland, and he's floating over to the flank. So yeah, you can see my troop movements. I'm going to be pulling back further in an attempt to lure him over because his artillery won't reach, and I'm going to be setting up my horse art. My infantry is going all the wrong way, and I'm bringing up my howitzer to be able to set up just at the tree line here, and I'm going to set up all my lights here on this flank and lob shells into his dragoons and maybe some into my ally's opponent as well. So you can see how I'm shifting over to my teammate's side a little bit more in an effort to draw him straight down at me. And because that's something a lot of people will do, and I'm going to start shooting my artillery at his, and I don't hit anybody on the first volley. So I'm going to re-aim my artillery after that. Over here on this flank, my ally is apparently setting up his artillery where he's going to get it stuck. So I think that one's going to glitch out now, because it's hard enough to get your artillery to set up when there's not room to deploy. So he just wasted a whole unit there on that, and he is setting up, I don't know if he's setting up his artillery here, but he's not even putting them into action. They're hidden back here, so wasting those 2 units. Mine as well not even brought them, so sorry, I'm a little tired. So now our opponent has all this Black Watch and line infantry over here. Yeah, tons and tons of line infantry and Coldstream Guards. Yeah. Alright. So I did open up, and I think I did hit his Green Jackets right here. I don't think I did any damage to his artillery, but I'm starting to do damage to his Green Jackets. My Hauser's almost in place, and it looks as he is taking the bait, but he does have 2 light dragoons here threatening my hidden units. Alright, so I'm going to bring these units out to hold this flank, and still he doesn't see these, so to him these aren't here, so this flank looks just beautifully wide open for him. And you can see my shots going into these Green Jackets, and they're going into the line infantry behind, so starting to take little nibbles away from his men. And again, I'm trying to set up a very inviting flank for him to take. Now you can see my ally's deployment is just not well thought out. He's got this part of his army, he's not even looking like it's going to be in action. It's like it's in reserve, which is not going to do him any good against going up against this British army here with what he has. Just not real well thought out. Okay, so I'm going to shift my line up because my ally has left a big gap in the center, so I'm going to try to push up to be able to fill all the gap except for a little bit, but I've got my cav that can fill the gap. And like I said, no idea what he's doing with his units that could be going up to fill the gap and starting to use his artillery they spent all that money on. Okay, so here comes his cav, and it's at this time I'm going to try to tempt him more. I reveal my Charles Servals there, and I'm going to walk them and attempt to tempt him forward. I'm just going to walk them like I made a mistake, and hope he comes up so I can start blasting him with my Chaleurs. Other than that, he's kind of standing there, so now I'm going to start opening it up with more of my artillery. My Hausers are going to go into him and tempt him forward some more, because all of his artillery is set up on the hill, not an effective spot. Okay, and that shot took him down 9 on that unit and down 15 on that one. And now my other artillery is playing havoc with him as well. So he's not going to like that. He's getting stung. So he's going to want to do something about it. So the fun will ensue. Now over here on this flank, my ally has set his artillery up, and they have unlimbered, so this unit is now starting to shoot, but I don't think he's even doing any damage because he's hitting a little bit. So I'll give him credit, he is hitting a little bit, but his other artillery units are just doing nothing. So now he's going to run one of them over here. He's already shot or been shot by himself or somebody, I don't know, but one of his units is already depleted. Now this opponent doesn't look like they brought any artillery, but they do have a very line heavy army. Okay, so here on this flank he did take the bait, and now I am able to start shooting into him, and I'm pulling my line, and now I'm going to be running up as I have the trees and he had his back to me. I'm going to be running my unit up to start shooting into him. Now all these units here, their range of fire is like over here, so I'm just out of his range of fire, and my lights are able to double team on this unit, so you can see we're already taking damage. And all these lights, I'm going to take some damage, but I'm just going to run my guys right up on him, and his other lines are back far enough so I can just run up on him and start shooting into these. And now I have this flank opened up because the two cav units have pulled out of the fight. So now I can roll my lights and start shooting up the flank as well as my line. Now he did take out my artillery, but I believe it will come back, but that's just one of them, and I'm fine. He concentrated a lot of his fire there while I was able to concentrate my lights on him. And you know, I have taken some damage, but I am got him down well more, and he had more units than I did to start off. So now he's bringing up his lines to do double fire on me, and I have already opened up into his lights, so his men are walking right into some fire, and now flanking fire as well. So now his cav, he's not sure what he wants to do with them. He's not sure what he wants to do with this cav either. I've got these two line units ready to hold these guys back, and I'm moving this line up as bulkily, and I'm going to push them into the fray as a blocking unit. And you can see my deployment there. And over here his units, I'm flipping my lights around now to shoot up his dragoons coming over, and yeah, so now I'm going to roll my cav up to start using them to shoot into his units over here to increase my firepower. I'm already breaking his lights. He is taking an enormous beating here. And I've got a cav fight going here, and I'm going to use that advantage to shoot into his cav. So I'm wrapping this flank. Over here, not much going on. He's pushing his lights right into the face of line, not smart. Okay, here come the cav charge. And I'm going to take this time to focus my fire now onto his cav. And I get all kinds of volleys, and you can see here comes the artillery, and yeah, that's awesome. His artillery is opening up pretty good on me. I'm going to continue to push this flank with my line, and now I have the light advantage where I was outnumbered. I'm going to take my cav and push through him. He's luckily forming squares, so I'll be able to shoot right between them and shoot him up in the process. And he forms square here, so I can just scoot around him without much harm. I was wanting to take advantage of him running. He did react pretty quickly on that, and now I'm going to be able to go into his artillery. On this flank, my opponent's ally is now going to threaten my flank because of the gap left by my ally, who is sitting back doing nothing. And I've got that coming, but it's all regiment of horse. Okay, so he is opening up with artillery fire on my cav, but I think he did shoot some of his own retreating men as well. He's got a general charge, and that didn't do well for me there, but here I'm already starting to take him down. Now he's formed square, so I'm trying to take advantage of that by running up and shooting into him, but I am also laying enormous fire down on him in the process. Over here, he just has that one light unit left. I did break the other one, so now I've got my 2 units here continuing to wrap this flank. Okay. Over here, it's becoming a big mess. He's got his cav assisting against mine. I'm just trying to take out this artillery. And over here on the flank, I was able to get my line into, push my line into square. And they're about to, hopefully. And that's going to be able to allow me to kill off those. Now my ally does respond in kind and send his chasseurs chevals, and that will assist a little bit, I think, if he comes over. Otherwise, I've got my Royal de Pont about to open fire into him, and hopefully. Maybe. Well, he does get into it, but before I shoot. But it's not going to do him a whole lot of good. I lost like 40 men. They're just chilling. Like, I ain't bothered by the horses. Alright. Over here, my lights are just freely shooting into the flank. So I'm just whittling down one unit at a time, focusing all my fire on one unit, and my artillery is lobbing shells into all this blob of men that he has. And you can see I've got him wrapped up, and I've got one cav unit that's going to rip right through the back of him as he's getting shot up, and he's forming square, which is what I want, and I'll be able to push my cav through. I do take some losses, some for myself, and this cav, this Trilleur did break his men over here. So yeah, there goes my cav. So I've got 41 men left from that unit. That's all the cav I have left. Okay, so now my opponent's ally is coming over to reinforce all the units that he lost, and my ally is going to send his cav over, and I'm going to try to put my lines over to support him. He's pulling back. I don't remember if I noticed that or not, but okay, you can see my artillery came back. I don't need them on just yet. I'm outnumbered in the cav fight, but I am going to be able to turn that here pretty quick. So yeah, my Bulkleys just crushed the British front. Just laid an absolute beating on them. center. And they have the trees here as well. But I've got these two units focusing on one. Now you can see all the line here is just completely shattered. All he's got is cav. With no line support, they're not going to fare well. So I'm going to push up again. He's got his artillery crews going to get back on, and my opponent's ally is coming over to reinforce again. He's got King's Royal New York and some line. I'm going to lob howitzer shells into him here in a minute. I think I'm focusing on these nicely packed formations with explosive shell. Okay. Okay. You can see how it's going down. I've got the range advantage. Oh, here comes some artillery fire. Oh! 15 right on that shot. Here comes another one. Got one. Here comes another one. It's like, I feel like I'm in baseball right now. They're gonna catch it. Whoa! That was pretty crazy. Ooh, God! Did you see the big hole that made? Yeah. This is just fun to watch. I think I was just laughing while this battle was going on. And my ally does bring his cav over here in support. Over here on this flank, he's got his cav behind with this Chaleur unit, but he's shooting round shot. I think he almost killed some of his own cav there. Looks like the Black Watch has been depleted pretty far down. And it's a kind of standoff here. But he has no choice to support his ally. I imagine they didn't think this battle was going to turn out like this. Okay, here comes King New York. You can see the shells hammering it in the back. As I am laying some fire down over here. Yeah. Put it to him, boys. Okay. And meanwhile, on this flank, I'm going to start shooting into his artillery, but I am going to take some losses from his shrapnel shot. I should have just pushed into him in melee. And you can see over here just the beating he's taking. I don't think he's hit anybody. Ugh. Gala's dead. Yeah. So anyway, over here, got a little bit of my men there. I'm gonna bring my cav unit over. He's trying to flank me with one of his lines that came back. I'm gonna use my Chaleur to shoot up on him, and my cav is gonna push right through the hole and go for his art. Okay, and here comes another artillery shell going nowhere from my ally. He's trying to sustain a fight with Coldstream Guards with his cav, which is a losing fight. Okay, so I got my cav into his artillery to keep them quiet. And now I'm going to push my Bulkleys up to start shooting up this line. And while my cav is in melee with them, I'm going to do something, I don't know. My ally, let's see what he's doing over here. I really don't know why the British player on this side has not retreated behind the hill to not take artillery fire, but I mean, it kind of baffles me. My ally over here has not taken any losses. I mean, this is quite puzzling. So I did lose my cav. My Bulkleys are into melee, and my units over here are into melee as well. My line of 76 got downhill charge. They're going to rout. Maybe, maybe not. My Bulkleys is now going to push into his cav. And he has moved up his lines here now to try to get in a firefight, and I'm shooting my volleys and pulling back, and I accidentally clicked to move instead of clicking on him to shoot, so I finally noticed that. So I'm targeting this unit to take that unit out, and now I'm rolling these two lights over here on this flank to shoot up the flank on this unit. Okay, so there that one goes. Pulling back, and I am lobbing shells at the Coldstream Guard. And he's going to try and get out of there. Meanwhile, over here, my Bulkleys are in a firefight, and I have the trees. And he has the ridge line. It's kind of a nice shot. Hey, I like that. The British in the distance. So, yeah. Be opening up on them here in just a second. We're pulling back. And right here, that line that was 61 Bulkleys is down to 31, but we have taken out cav and have whittled this line to 53. And now my Treleurs are over to start shooting him up, and I have routed out all the units on this flank. And I still have 93 Bulkleys from that 101. But I did lose my line. He bit the dust with 36 men. So there goes all my Bulkleys did break, but so did his line as well. So now he's got no protection for his artillery, and he's got two line right here isolated, and then over here my Treleurs, again, I misclicked and they went somewhere dumb, and now I'm able to come over and start and assist my ally, but with a little bit of recovery, his opponent has started using his Black Watch and his line to start busting up the my ally. I mean, even with 44 men or 35 now, you know, the Black Watch team with a line unit of full strength is nothing to blink your eyes at, because even though he's shooting them up, now he's going to get shot up by these 2 units of line that are almost full strength. So that's a line fight he should have pulled out of, because now he just went down from full strength down to 112. And he's using his guard de corps, and he's got cav here. He could be back charging, but yeah. Okay. So now I'm just shooting up the retreating units as they go with my artillery and my lights, and I have all 5 of my lights still intact. And I've got 2 that are close to half strength, but the 3 of them actually, but the other 2 are in pretty good shape. And yeah, so this whole half of the field is won. Yeah, you can see I'm shooting up the general's bodyguard now. Okay. So we have our opponent over here completely surrounded, but he does rout out this unit here, and both his units come out pretty unscathed. Okay. So now he's going to start taking on these 2 lines here. And I forgot completely that my ally still had these units here, and he never even uses them, except for maybe a couple shots from his artillery. I mean, this artillery is completely ineffective. He's got Trillers that he could be using. It's not. I mean, real curious. He's using solid shot, which I don't understand, but I think he's got to be new. Okay. So here's my troop movements. As I'm coming up, I'm looking over here and I'm like, why is he not using these garde du corps? He's got almost full strength garde du corps. He could be back charging to help his units here, because I mean, he is way outnumbered. He's only got 2 lights and 2 line and 3 artillery pieces, which are I mean, there's nothing there. He's going to get crushed. He does bring his Chasseurs Chevals over to take out the general there, but he was pretty quiet this whole game. So okay, so all my lights are over here. I got 2 line coming up on the flank, and I'm bringing my howitzers over to enjoy some fun, and my lights as well. I mean, truly, the British player still has enough line to win this fight. I mean, he's going to evaporate these units pretty quick. I mean, he's not good range of sight there. He's shooting the hill here, and that's the problem with his flank, is you gotta be real careful. You're shooting the hill a lot, so that's what pretty much both of them are doing over here. They're shooting the hill, but that means all his shots are not doing anything. So he's barely hitting anybody. Okay, so he's got the line over here, starting to shoot into them and into his artillery. Whereas I am now coming up on their rear, and I'll be able to start killing some Fusiliers. But he does turn him and try to push him in. Can't remember if he tries to lob grenades or not. Let's see. He tries to rush him into melee. Gets taken way down though. So I shoot up the Coldstream Guard. Okay, and over here you can kind of see, try to do more of an overhead. He's getting hammered pretty hard. He should be rushing into melee over here because he's getting shot by artillery and everything. But he finally did bring his cav to push into the fight. They got their uniforms dirty now. Alright. And over here we have completely wrapped up the remnants almost of the other player. And yeah, we're just taking them out one unit at a time on the flank. Okay, so I've got this unit 92 is just gonna go ahead and charge into this line here. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and push up and commence complete encirclement. Although my ally is almost broken, he finally does bring up his Chaleurs that were in the reserve, but he's still got all these units sitting back, spectating. Okay, my guy should be about ready to shoot. Okay, I'm going to pull back after those volleys, because I do have range on them with all my lights coming over, and I got a bulkly unit coming over as well. Okay. And just a matter of time now. Some more of my units coming over to join in on the fun. Yeah. This is pretty crazy. They're breaking with a lot of men. 89. And the British players had enough. His men are out of here. One unit at a time. Nice little shot there. Almost got him. I shot my guys pretty badly too. That's a pretty good shot there. Oh, guys. Oh. Dude. It's not good. They're out of here. 97 of them, 74 of those guys, they're like, shh. After that, we're out of here. Oh. These guys want to get their last shots in. The last stand of the British. And they just don't die. They want to run. For some reason, that one unit didn't want to run. Don't make any sense. Okay. That's it. I'm shooting myself again. Brilliant. So yeah, good game there. So it was me and Big Smoke. He had a Big Smoke and we beat Buster McNasty and Captain Long. So yep, fun game. I got 2,083 kills. My ally 872. Buster McNasty 894 and Captain Long 863. Thank you again, everyone. Please like and subscribe. See you on the next video.